My whole life, all I've wanted is to be
a superstar.
She was a nobody.
Sorry.
Who dreamed of being somebody.
Dreams can come true, you know. Tired.
Molly Shannon.
When I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I smell them like that.
Ooh. Superstar.
Slip-peroo.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 8th.
Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Y2Gay movie podcast. I'm your host, Kevin, if you don't know me, and you may be asking yourself, do we really need another millennial movie podcast? And the answer to that is probably not, but we're going to have fun anyway, talking about some cult films from about the mid-90s to the early 2000s. And my first guest on the pod is someone I've known for quite a while now. We're very good friends. We did a podcast together for about 4 years. He's a filmmaker, movie and theater buff, and just an all-around great person. So please welcome to the pod, Chris Moore. Woo!
Hello. I'm so glad to be here for the first episode.
I know. Well, there was no question. I was trying to figure out, who was I going to invite on for the first episode? And of course it was going to be Chris Moore,
I'm flattered. I'm touched.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
touched by an angel.
Touched by Mary Katherine Gallagher herself.
I wish.
Or Will Ferrell as Jesus, coming down there.
For some reason, I forgot that he played Jesus in this. I just blacked it out.
I've seen this many times, and I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
He shows up, and I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, I forgot he pulls double duty in this. Who knew? Go Will Ferrell.
Good for him. Good for him. How you doing, Chris?
Well, I'm surviving, Kevin, as we all are, trying our best,
Yes.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and
yes, it is.
Something profound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But hey, you just had a movie premiere, your new film, right?
Yes, Until You're Alone. We had a big, splashy Mississippi premiere. First time it was shown, and it went very well. I was very nervous. It's a bit of a racy picture. There is some sexual content and
a little body,
little full frontal nudity.
Wow.
And, I was white knuckling it a bit for about the first 20 minutes because that's like the sort of more extreme part. And we did have, I think, 2 or 3 people walk out, and I was like, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. What you want, right?
I know.
That's like The Exorcist. People puking and vomiting.
I was like, this is great. I hope somebody filmed this. They didn't, but I wish they had.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, that was cool. I took it as a badge of honor, and we are going to the Houston Horror Film Festival at the beginning of August, and
awesome.
We're gonna be there with the movie. A bunch of us are gonna go and check it out, and hopefully
that's a big one. It is
a biggie.
That's Troy and Rogers. They both do with that, right?
Yeah, cool. And of course,
cool.
Rogers in the film too.
That's right. Yeah, great,
awesome, phenomenal in the film, and cool. I can't wait for everyone to see his performance. It's just spectacular. He's a dream to work awesome. With too, and it's a really fun movie. It's sort of a little bit of Argento, a little De Palma. It's an erotic thriller, but it's also a giallo, which I guess giallos are kind of usually sort of erotic at times, so it works.
Typically.
It's sort of like a southern Dress to Kill meets Deep Red with some, I don't know, body double and body
all
heat.
The good stuff. Oh my gosh, yeah.
All the bodies.
All the bodies.
Body chemistry 2. Hard bodies. I don't know.
Student bodies.
Student bodies. Body of evidence. Everybody. Mr. Body from the movie Clue. Everybody. All the bodies. So.
Oh, that's great though. I remember when we were doing the podcast a couple years ago, you were just starting to sort of ruminate on what you're going to do for that. So that's great.
Oh, God, that's right.
Sort of came along.
Right, man. It's been a little while. I think
it's been a sec. It's close to 2 years, I think.
Whoa.
which is insane. It's also crazy that we
Yeah.
did it for 4 years because it doesn't feel like it because of the pandemic and
Well,
everything was
I
so
mean,
like, you know,
the pandemic, that was the
timey-wimey.
thing, is that I look back and I think of all the episodes that we did, and it's hard to
Yeah.
remember sometimes that we did so many of them. I mean, there
We
were a lot.
almost for those first couple of years, we were doing it every week, like every
Yeah.
single week, and then we took some breaks here and there after that. But still, I mean, and when I announced that I was going to do this podcast, and especially when I announced that you were going to be the first guest, people were really excited about it, which made me feel good because it made me feel like we did something that like brought people some joy during a very crappy time in history.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
always a nice feeling.
you know, every now and then I do get people like in my DMs, saying like, "Hey, I enjoyed the podcast. Are you going to do something like that again?" And I'm like, "No, never say never."
Yeah, never say never.
No.
It's so yeah, that's always flattering. Because you never know when you're on the other side of things, like we were, like how people are really interacting with what they're hearing. And I know there were a couple podcasts, particularly during the pandemic, that I was really invested in. Anthony and Stacey's podcast, the Gaylords of Darkness. So
absolutely,
that if we brought people some joy, like they brought us, that's fantastic, and I love hearing that. So thank you to people who've reached out. Yeah.
It's wonderful because I mean, really, when we first started that, I was like, "Who's gonna listen to this? I mean, does anyone care what we have to say?"
Yeah, I know.
Apparently, a few did. I guess that's good. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We did have some very devoted listeners. I remember
Yeah.
constantly people would be like, "Oh, what are y'all going to talk about this week and next week? Do you have any themes this next month?" And they were really
the
into
themes
it.
are fun. The themes are fun. Eventually, we got to the point where we were like, I don't know what we've done every theme under the sun here.
I remember there was a Brain Dead Summer. I think Brain Dead
just
Summer just continued throughout.
It just kept going
the
for the
year.
rest of the year until the episodes were done, basically.
Yeah.
Although I was looking, the last episode we did was "Let's Scare Jessica to Death," which if you're going to end on like an episode, I feel like that's a pretty good one.
It is a good one. Yeah, I thought about that recently. I was like, we didn't announce it. We didn't say, because I think there were a few times where we were like, we might come back, we might do a special Halloween thing or something,
Yeah.
And so like we didn't want to be definitive about it, but looking back, I'm like, if we had to go out, that is a good one.
That's a pretty good one.
It's goodie.
Life just got crazy, y'all, which happens, we, like we said, we've been doing that thing for like 4 years, and some personal stuff came up, and we just decided we needed a long sort of hiatus from it. And like you said, never say never. We could maybe come back someday or do something similar, but for now, this is kind of my new endeavor. And I appreciate you coming on, of course, for the first episode, and I want to have you back as much as possible. So thanks for joining me.
I saw that you were going to do Matilda soon, and I'm
Matilda,
sure you already have someone picked out.
I do have a friend, but I do know you love that one too.
I'm leaving right now. I'm leaving.
I know. I was thinking about that movie, and at first I was like, is that, is it too young? Is it too popular? And I'm like, first of all, who the fuck cares? This is my podcast. I can cover whatever the hell I want to cover.
Do what you want.
But yeah, there is something about that movie that particularly I think queer people seem to gravitate towards. And I mean, it is kind of like a kid Carrie, so that's part of it.
It really is. It really, like when you break it down, you're like, Roald Dahl, did you just read Stephen King? Didn't that book come out like in the late 80s? It was like one of his last.
I can't even remember.
Big ones,
yeah,
right?
It was pretty late. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure he just read the book or saw the movie and was like, a child's version of Carrie. Brilliant. And it kind of was. I mean,
it worked. It worked,
That's a great one.
There's just some dark shit. I mean, there were a lot of these family movies from the 90s too. You watch and you're like, man, they got away with some dark shit in these movies too.
I love it.
And it was great. It was wonderful. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Like
fantastic.
we were scared. We were definitely on the edge of our seats at times, but boy, were they memorable, and we felt stronger when we were through with them. We felt like we had conquered some kind of big fear, and it was great.
Exactly. It was wonderful. And it makes them rewatchable as an adult. Whereas a lot of the kids movies I watch now, I'm like, I don't watch that many kids movies in general, but if I do watch like a Pixar movie or something, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this again. Like this was made for like 5-year-olds, and there's
Right.
nothing in here for adults. You know,
That's the problem, is that back in the 80s and the 90s, they were like, okay, these are going to be watched with families, parents. We got to bring in something for them. So they would have like a few little, adult jokes. Like I remember rewatching an episode of Rugrats years ago, and there was like a Dr. Kevorkian joke or something. I was like, oh shit, that's I wouldn't have caught that as a kid because I wouldn't have known who
Rugrats
that
was another one. Yeah. And I think it's because at the time, everyone was still kind of gathered around and watching, you still probably only had a couple TVs in the house and everybody was watching the same stuff at the same time. Whereas that's not the case anymore. Now the kids are off on their own, watching on their iPads and cell phones and stuff. So the filmmakers don't feel like they have to cater to the adults anymore because the adults aren't spending any time with the kids and the kids are just off watching the whatever.
Now our world is a Roald Dahl book completely.
Yes.
It's like they just are like,
okay, even more demented.
You've got the fish fingers in the microwave. I'm gonna go play bingo, and here's your little iPad, and it's.
We got the Trunchbull in charge of the country, and it's just
if that's not the damn truth. My God, we have the goddamn Trunchbull, a fucking just nasty ass Trunchbull, just fucking up everything for everybody. It's did he kill someone? Is there a way that we could like pretend that a ghost of someone he killed is haunting him, like in the movie, and just like be like, leave now or else I'll get you like you got me, and just he just runs out screaming on the lawn.
Oh, that scene is so good.
Oh, dude, beautiful. Please.
And he'll get you like you got
you.
That's so good.
That is a promise. So good. Oh, damn it. We're not talking about Matilda.
We're not talking about Matilda for right now, but we are talking about a great film though.
Oh boy,
it is one that I think I was saying before we recorded. I was trying to figure out, what movie would be great for a premiere episode, and I made a whole list, and there were some contenders in there. But eventually, I was just like, obviously, it's got to be Superstar. And since I picked this, the fates have been telling me this was the right call because I keep seeing stuff about Molly Shannon. Like she just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, well, I didn't even know about that. And then it was like, oh, there we go. It was perfect.
That is so, the algorithm has been speaking to both of us, I guess, because I've been seeing the same stuff today. I was just going to eat my lunch and I was like, what should I watch on YouTube? And there was a interview with her and Conan O'Brien on his podcast that just popped up. And I was like, they are listening. They're like, this bitch watched Superstar last night and clearly is a Molly Shannon fan. Here's all the Molly Shannon content.
It's kind of scary, but at the same time, sometimes it's like, okay, well, thanks for pointing me in the right direction, I guess. Back in the 90s, they used to just make their own demented shit, on their own. They didn't need AI.
Yeah. They had a thing called talent.
They had to talent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Whatever happened to talent?
And class.
Whatever happened to class? Whatever happened to good movies?
Mary Katherine Gallagher and
SNL.
Now every movie I see
is a big piece of shit.
Yeah. Whatever happened to class? Don't people? You miss our music numbers that we would occasionally.
They're going to be like, every episode. Man. They're going to be like, fast forward. They're singing again.
Damn! I forgot about this.
Theater queens. God.
I was thinking about watching this movie. It would be a pretty good double feature with like Drop Dead Gorgeous because it has that kind of do it yourself like talent show vibe throughout that I love. And and they both came out the same year, so I guess it kind of makes sense for some of that.
Oh, well, I mean, we talked about that on the old podcast. Yep. What a great year 1999 was.
Oh yeah, one of in our lifetime, I would say the best that there has been. Although I've been going through films from 2001 lately, and I'm like, man, that was a pretty damn good year too.
Really?
I'll have to send you a list there because I was like, man, I didn't really think of this being a particularly great year, but as I was going through, I'm like, man, there's some good shit. I can't even think of like everything right off the top of my head right now, but I was like, wow. But yeah, 1999 in particular for sure. Man. And we'll talk about the box office in a second here, but didn't do so great at the box office. It about doubled its budget, which is not, bad.
Oh.
But when you think about all the fucking great movies that were in theaters in 1999, you can't really hold it against a movie not doing particularly well because it's, again, it was just hit after hit after hit, and every genre too.
Oh my God. Yeah. Great horror, great comedy, great dramas.
Great dramas.
No musicals, I don't think. Were there any musicals?
No, well, Superstar. I would say.
Does this count as a musical? I mean, there's musical numbers.
Drop Dead Gorgeous has a
Gloria Stefan, and
yes,
some good stuff in there.
Musically influenced movies, yeah. Also, you know what? I forgotten. I don't know how, because it's so ingrained in this movie, is that Michael Gore did the score for this movie.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, and there's so many references to Carrie, which he did the score for the musical.
Yes.
And I was like, I wonder if this is connected. Like, did they bring him the script and he was like, they're talking about Carrie. This is for me,
Yes. And this would have been pre-revival Carrie. So it would have been really fun, like ridiculous 80s Carrie that was on Broadway and in London and everything.
Oh,
and
where they had the togas. There were togas.
Oh God, it was
really
a lot,
weird.
But
sorry.
But you know what? As weird as all of that shit was, I think I still prefer it to the revival. Only because I feel like the revival got very angsty and very
earnest.
Earnest. We lost some of the camp. Like, we needed a middle ground. Like the original was like too campy, and then this was too like earnest and too like Spring Awakening.
Wasn't there a lot of chairography like there was with that show? Like a lot of angsty kids with chairs being like, "Why don't I fit in?" And mom doesn't listen to me. And
it was very Next to Normal, very Spring Awakening, which those shows were very popular at the time. So it makes sense they were trying to like capture that, and it did at least make the show like popular again, because it had kind of just been
done now.
People still do it.
People still do it. Great.
I think Riverdale had a whole episode about it, so like it was popular enough to like do it. So,
it's also I feel like it's the same thing with all the other adaptations of Carrie as the years have gone on. It's like they especially with the character of Margaret, I feel like they make her like this sort of like, she's still the villain, but she's misunderstood. Like, she has mental problems, so we should feel bad for her. No, she's abusing her child. She's a monster.
Terrible.
She's make her a monster, please.
She's a religious zealot. Just like let her be the kind of monster that in real life who is a religious zealot.
Yeah.
We don't have to have levels because that's what
Piper Laurie. She enjoyed it. She was clearly enjoying the fact that she was a monster.
She was a monster.
Just played it up, and it was fun. And you still feel bad for her. It was probably something in her childhood. And I'm nervous about the new Amazon show, because I'm scared that it's going to be like a 3-episode deep dive on Margaret and why we should care about her and why she's misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, don't do that.
I love Mike Flanagan, and also just the casting of Carrie. Like, he had a real opportunity there to cast someone finally who actually looks like Carrie is supposed to look like. It's like,
why?
How did you let that? Yeah, Mike.
Every single time they're like, you know what? It says she's an overweight, pimply girl, blonde white girl. Perfect.
Just let her be that.
I know.
Or at least cast Molly Shannon and let her be. Can you imagine?
That would be so good. Like Molly Shannon as Mary Katherine Gallagher. As
Carrie White. Oh God! So
honestly,
good.
I think she could still do it. I don't think it's too late. She's 50 something now.
No, she in interviews she seems very energetic and spry. And okay, let me tell you, I went back and I watched some of the older clips from the SNL skits that she did, and sketches, I should say, not skits. And man, from the very first episode, she had this character figured out, like who this character was, her backstory, all the little mannerisms. And I forgot, like, every time she does this skit, almost, she jumps into like a pile of chairs or some huge physical comedy bit that I'm just like, wow. And just the coordination that had to go into that to make sure you didn't get hurt, first of all, is just amazing.
Well, it's the adrenaline will get you so far to the point where you won't feel that you're hurt, and it's the next day.
True.
She was actually talking about that on the podcast, how like she wouldn't know that she got hurt until the next day, where she'd be like, oh, my feet and my legs are yellow and purple.
Yeah.
What did I do last night? She's like, oh, right. I jumped into a
Right.
pile of real chairs.
It's, oh gosh.
The
And
commitment. I mean,
the
man.
commitment, my gosh. And 90s comedy was just very big in general. So I feel like it kept pushing these comedians to just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
And I think it was especially true for the male comedians. I'm thinking like Jim Carrey and like Robin Williams and like, these kind of male comedians. And I don't remember a whole lot of female comedians being willing to go as big as she really goes here. Because I think even in the 90s, it was still kind of like, okay, you're a female comedian, but you can't be quite as big as the dudes. The dudes can be really big. But Molly Shannon, my God, she's coming out here. Her and like Sherry O'Terry, that group of women that were on SNL, like they were willing to just like go for it and be really big and loud. And I think that is a big part of what has made them kind of lasting comics in that regard.
Absolutely. I mean, they just would always go for broke, and they weren't scared about, oh, I'm not going to look ladylike, and then I'm not going to get cast in all the big like rom-coms. It was like they just went for whatever their character was supposed to do. They didn't think about, oh, I'm not going to look attractive. I'm not going to, do this or that. They were in character. They went for broke, and it was beautiful. It was so great to watch those.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, it was just such a fun movie to revisit. Very briefly, we're going to get in our little time machine here. We're going to go back and talk about just briefly what was going on in 1999, which is kind of the focus of this podcast anyway, because the title is the Y2Gay podcast, which of course is reference to the Y2K scare and all the preparations that were going on, which would have been around this time because this movie came out in October of 1999. So everybody's getting ready for the millennium, and everyone's braced for this Y2K bug, which I'm not going to get into because it was really complicated actually. But if you want to go read about like why everybody was scared about that, go ahead. It had something to do with the technology couldn't read the year 2000. At least that was the thought. And they did have a lot of people working behind the scenes to make sure that like bad things didn't actually happen. But I think nowadays a lot of people look back at it and they're like, oh, that was a big hoax type thing. But apparently there were actually things that could have happened. They just fixed them. So, but anyway, Superstar opened on October 8th, 1999, number 5, sadly. But like I said, let's see if we can figure out some of these movies that were before then. Number 1 is a movie that we both love. It is not a horror movie, but it's a thriller. It's from 1999.
99. Double Jeopardy?
Yes, Double Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Good call.
I love Double Jeopardy. Oh, I got to be on that one. If you ever do that movie.
Double Jeopardy. Oh yeah.
I got to.
Yeah. Oh man.
Making plans right now.
I'm trying to do a lot of like 25th and 30th anniversaries right now, so it's going to be a while before I get to like the 1999 ones because that's not for a couple of years. But I might have to bump that up because that's a great.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
So good.
But it's so good. Oh. The number 2 movie. I didn't even remember this one. Maybe you will. It's Random Hearts. It's a Sidney Pollack movie with Harrison Ford. Yes,
I've never seen it.
Blanked. No, me neither.
That was one I remember when it came out, and I was like, "This looks like a movie that my mom would go see," which is derogatory. That's not a good thing. I was like, it just looks kind of like old people like doing old people things, and it looked like it was political. And at that time, I was like, how old were we back then? Like 10 or 11 or something?
Yeah,
like,
we would have been fairly young. Yeah.
So I mean,
it makes sense.
I wasn't into it. I was like, what is that, like C-SPAN? Like, what is? I didn't want to. I didn't know. Although someone made a post about that movie recently, kind of saying the same things. Like they didn't really watch it when it was first out, and they just discovered it, and they're like, it's surprisingly good. So maybe we need to watch it. It might be good.
Maybe I'll bump that up. We'll see. Number 3 was Three Kings. That was the one with George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg and Ice Cube. Which
I still haven't seen that either.
I saw it for the first time a couple years ago. It's pretty good. It's a pretty decent little like dark comedy drama thing, satire, like a lot of the movies from 1999 were. And that's pretty good little movie. Number 4, this was a big one. This is one of the biggest movies of 1999.
The Matrix?
No, close. Well, not close.
Summer movie.
This, oh gosh, someone who's very controversial right now was the star of it. and
American Beauty?
American Beauty
Oh,
was number 4. It had opened earlier in the month, but was still kicking.
Starring the groper himself, Mr. Spacey.
Yes, Spacey.
Oh shit! God,
you know what though? I still love that movie. I still love the movie. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna
do? It's problematic.
Yeah,
I know.
It's the writing, man, and the performances,
really
but it's just a great screenplay and just really bitchy and really fun, and while being very dramatic and melodramatic, it just had everything in it. But
I think that movie actually opened maybe in later '99 where I lived, because for some reason I remember it was out around the time the Oscars were announced, and
gotcha.
I think it took a little while to get there.
It could be. Yeah. And then one more, the other big horror hit from 1999.
The Rage Carrie 2, obviously. Right? No,
not the Rage Carrie 2.
Let me have my delusion, please. Wait, what else was 99? Virus.
It's not Virus. It's not Sleepy Hollow. More drama. Think more.
The Sixth Sense.
Of course, The Sixth Sense.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. God, that's a good lineup and diverse.
I know. That was the thing about the box office back then, right? It wasn't just like Marvel movies and horror movies. It was like you had a whole group of diverse movies that were kicking in at the box office. Wow.
You could stay all day long. You could. God, what a beautiful time.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss it.
Glorious.
So, in comes Superstar. It ended up grossing about $30.6 million against a $14 million budget, which again, it about doubled its budget. So for a little, cult movie here, not terrible. Critics, not too kind, not real surprised because, it was a camp comedy, and a lot of these camp comedies didn't really do very well in the 90s with the critics. But I think they have, survived the test of time. So who the fuck cares? Who cares that our buddy Roger Ebert gave it a 1 out of 4 here?
God damn it, Roger Ebert. I have had it with him.
And I was reading what he said, and it doesn't make any sense. He's like, Molly Shannon's character is hostile and not very nice. She's one of the people who inspires you to be hurtful and cruel. And I'm like, what? She's not.
No, she's awkward socially and makes out with trees. I'm sorry that's too far for you, Roger.
She saves a little boy from drowning at the beginning of the movie.
In the first scene. Have you read the book Save the Cat about screenwriting? That's what you're supposed to do. Save the cat. She saved the cat, aka the little boy, which apparently is supposed to make a character likable. I don't know. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about this movie too, that like it is in a way that the 90s did this very well. It was trying to balance like earnest, like in the sense that you care about the characters, but then also being a satire of these like kind of like Fame and the teen dramas and stuff too. So it really walks that line really well in a way that like Scream is kind of like it's a slasher, but it's also parody / satire of slashers. And this is kind of the same way, where it's like it's satirizing a lot of these teen comedies and dramas, but it's also like one itself, which is just fun to watch, because you care about the characters.
Balance, it's like it's sort of able to have its cake and eat it too somehow, which is a very difficult thing to do. But the 90s was really good at that. It's like, we're gonna spoof this genre, but at the same time, we're kind of playing by the rules of the genre. We're still going to give you a good example of what this genre can do, but we're going to have some fun with it. Why not have some fun? Remember fun. Fun was good.
Fun. That was nice. God, good times. Take it back.
99. Fun year. Fun movies.
And they were just comedies too that made you laugh, like actually made you laugh. Have you seen The Devil Wears Prada 2 yet?
No, I can't bring myself to. Nobody throw stuff at me. I was never a big fan of the first one.
No, that's fair.
Maybe I was in a wrong frame of mind. I'm gonna rewatch it one day, but I was just kind of like, okay, Meryl Streep's good, but like,
rewatch it. It's not amazing, but it's very quotable, and I think that was one of the things that made it so popular. There were all these like one-liners that they throw in there, but the sequel. There's nothing. Like I left the movie and I was like, okay, this felt like more of a dramedy type thing. And it wasn't bad, but it was like, this movie is not going to survive like 20 years later. People are not going to be obsessed with this movie. Because it's not super quotable. Like a lot of these comedies from the 90s and early 2000s were. And, you
Right.
know, like Mean Girls and Legally Blonde and Clueless, you know, all of these camp comedies, a big part of what has made them, I think, survive has just been the fact that there were these bitchy kind of campy one-liners that like people are always spouting off, even to this day, you know?
Yeah.
And even some of the like bro-y movies from that time, like it still had these kind of one-liners that were very popular. You know, all the Adam Sandler movies and
I was just gonna say, yeah, like there's the Water Boy. You know, they still
the Waterboy, yeah.
quote that. What is the one that it was Rob Schneider, another controversial figure now. But you can do it, or what was, I don't know. Is that from the Water Boy? He's like, you can do it. It
I
seemed
think
like
so. I think so. He was in a lot of the
everybody
movies,
said
but
for
I
a
think
while.
that was yeah. You can do it.
And what was Kathy Bates in that? She was like his mom that said
The
something
mom.
about like Bobby Boucher, the
Yes.
foosball is the devil. Like it was just a lot of fun stuff, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you don't really
yeah.
have that as much anymore.
You don't. We've kind of lost the water cooler culture in general. Whereas, you know, now when a movie comes out, it's not nearly the sort of, even when it's popular, it's not the cultural kind of force that it used to be.
No. It's really sad because I mean they're just everything's so disposable. It's like, well, that was the big hit for this week. It's completely gone now. It's been taken out of the theaters, but it'll be on streaming in 2 weeks. So why even bother seeing it in a theater?
I know.
It's
And then if you
horrible.
miss it, you forget about it after a week, and then it's gone. You know, and it's the same with the streaming TV shows too. Like Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell are in a show right now. I guarantee if I don't watch it right now, I'm not going to watch it in 2 weeks because
They are?
it's just not going to. It's called The Hawk. And I've heard very little about the show, but it's on Netflix right now. And yeah, again, that was one of the forces that was telling me maybe this was good that we picked this episode.
For that must be why she's on like a publicity tour thing.
That and I think because of the
star
walk, the Walk of Fame star.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're having a little, I think, Molly Shannon resurgence, which is great. Loved
maybe
her.
That'll help. You know,
maybe. Loved her in the other two also. Still miss that show.
That was such a
fucking good show.
If y'all have not seen that, HBO Max that immediately.
Go sit down.
Good to the last drop. Truly.
I feel like a lot of people slept on that show and it is so freaking good. Like if you miss like real comedies, like not like some half-assed dramedy, but like an actual comedy that's going to make you fucking laugh your pants off, like go watch the other two. It's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think theatrical comedy is very, very dead right now. But the TV, like the streaming, there's still little hints of something that could be better. You know, there's some good shows out there.
There are. I watched the Dan Levy one, The Big Mistakes. It's pretty funny too. There's some good stuff coming. I hope, because we were about 30 years from these 90s movies at this point, which is insane. But I think we're kind of reaching that, it's called the nostalgia pendulum. I was just reading about this effect where it's like every 30 years you reach the point where like the kids who were around like age 10, which is about what we were when this movie came out. They're old enough now. They're in their like 40. They're about 40. Not to age us. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
Give me my last few years, Kevin.
I know. Let me enjoy my last couple years in 30s, but we're getting close. And, but they get to the point where they're old enough to start making movies themselves. Whereas, I mean, you've been making movies since you were like, 20s, but you know, a lot of other filmmakers, you know, are out there. And I think, I hope that we're starting to move towards a little bit of a campier place because hopefully the millennials are finally starting to kind of like get back in charge of some things. Because I feel like part of the issue right now is that boomers are just holding on for dear life everywhere, in politics, in the movies, every fucking corporation. They don't want to give it over to the millennials or the Gen Xers. They just want to keep holding on. But it's like, you know, the boomers had some great comedies too in the 60s and stuff. So you think they would remember that, like, we still want to fucking laugh. Like, it's so.
I'm trying to figure out what it must be. I mean, I think well, you know, so I do comedy shows with a particular group, and throughout the years, I've noticed that like when we first started, people were a little bit easier to make laugh, and now it's like people don't. It's like they feel scared to laugh about certain things. There's a fear there, and I don't know what it's going to take to get people to like remove the sticks from their asses and just have a laugh again.
I don't know.
But I hope it happens soon.
I think the pandemic made it worse. I think it was starting before the pandemic, but I think it has definitely made it worse. And we kind of talked about it in our podcast. You have it's really both on the left and the right are sort of censoring what can be said. And it's not like, I don't want to hear any like anti-gay, racist jokes. I don't want to hear that anymore. Like that was the very 80s, 90s, and I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Yeah. But you can still make humor that is funny. You don't have to be like punching down all the time to to be funny. And I've seen some very funny stand-up shows and like comedy shows like you're doing. So it's like it's still out there, folks. But for some reason, these studio heads are not greenlighting these movies that are genuinely funny. I think there have been a couple attempts recently. Like we said, even though I didn't find The Devil Wears Prada like that funny, at least it was something. And a Scary Movie, which again, I didn't think was that great, but at least it was trying. So my hope is that since we're moving into the sort of the later part of the 2020s now, there tends to be this shift in pop culture where things start to move somewhere else in the later part of each decade. So I'm hoping that we're kind of moving towards a campier place, hopefully, because I think we need it.
I hope so.
I think
we really do desperately, because everything is so serious. Even our comedies are serious.
They're so.
Please, we need something fun, and
just let us laugh.
I did something I shouldn't have done last night after I watched this. I was on Letterboxd and I read the reviews for this movie. And what I like to do when I like a movie, I like to go and look at the ones that are like the worst ones. And a lot of people were talking about how this movie is very problematic and it's making fun of mentally ill people. I would like to challenge that and say, no, it is celebrating them. Who wins in the end? All the outcasts.
The outcasts.
It's up. This movie has a positive moral value, just like the film that they're going to be.
They're going to make a movie.
So I will challenge that.
Chris Moore, you are now starring on a podcast devoted to talking about a movie with positive moral values.
Is that what this really is? It's just
every film I pick from now on is going to be a movie about positive moral values from the 90s.
So I guess you won't do American Beauty then. I guess that might be off the list a bit.
Might be pushing it a little bit, but we'll see.
We'll see. Be a controversial take, a very special episode.
Yeah, and that's I think particularly with the younger generation, which not to be one of those like older, not that old, but one of those people that's like back in my day. But I think. They get so PC about everything. And it's like, if there's even like one problematic thing, then they write off the whole movie. And like, that sucks because you have to always try to watch these things in the context that they came out during,
Exactly.
And if you don't, then, don't watch them, I guess, because you're not going to have any fun because,
There was a comment about the use of the R word in this, and but it's coming from Tom Green's character, who I always forget is in this movie.
Tom Green, big thing during this time period.
Yeah,
he was in the Tom Green show, and for some reason he was like a huge kind of thing for a couple years, and then he just disappeared from the face of the earth. But
and it's like, I hate that word. I think it's a horrible word, and no one should use it. But it's like it is coming from a character who's supposed to be an asshole, who's like the villain of the piece. So I'm like, so villains can't say horrible things and do horrible things. It's like that always weirds me out because I'm like, well, then what's a villain supposed to do? Just be like, you're stupid and just like leave the room? Like, what are they gonna like? They have to do something horrible or else you're not gonna really feel that threat.
Totally.
So that was a little, I thought that made me laugh. Letterboxd reviews. If you're ever feeling down, look up your favorite film and look at the bad reviews and you'll be like, people on this planet are doomed. We're just doomed.
Yeah, it's always in some ways, from a psychological sense, interesting to see how someone can watch a movie that you love to pieces, and see a completely different thing. They just see this thing that they viscerally hate, and it's like, well. Drop Dead Gorgeous is like that. I've seen some people 100%. That watch that and they hate it because it's a quote unquote problematic movie. But my God, do I love it? It's because it was taking all these chances, and we've talked about it before. I think it's taking a lot of punches, but it's punching everybody in that movie. Every single character is being made fun of, and I
think the only one that gets off completely scot-free is probably Amber. I mean, because she's a little angel. There's really nothing that she does.
she's like treated like trailer trash though, you know, and everybody in the movie kind of treats her that way. So but I think she's the lead, so that she doesn't get as much crap thrown at her. But it's
I mean, Mary Katherine Gallagher as a cult leader would be a great sequel, I think.
Oh my God. I was going to ask you, like, what do you think Mary Katherine Gallagher would be doing like 25, 30 years after this happened?
Oh my God. Well, I think she's still in high school, clearly. She never graduated. She still has her grandmother's corpse just like marinating in like a attic somewhere. She died a long time ago. R.I.P. Glynis Johns.
Glynis Johns, what a legend! Yeah,
who died really? I think it was like a couple of years ago, maybe. She's
fairly recently. This was her last film role, and then she just like retired for like 25 years. Which good for her, girl.
Well,
like if you're gonna go out on,
she knew when to quit. She was like, "It's not getting better than this. I will never get a better role." I got to sing a Sondheim song for the first time on Broadway, and now I get to end my career in a motorized wheelchair doing the booga booga.
Doing the booga booga.
Whatever the fuck that is.
And you better fucking figure it out. Yeah, that's...
I think that might be my favorite part of the movie. I love her. I love her so much.
I mean, of course, you know, Mrs. Banks and Mary Poppins, y'all, if you don't know much about it. I mean, she was this legendary golden age Hollywood actress, but I think most people probably from our generation would know her from like Mary Poppins or this.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe a little Night Music if you're a theater fan, but
yeah. I mean, fell in love with her immediately. She's one of those people that, like, if you talk to any gay people, they'll probably say that when they first saw that film, she really stood out. There was something about her that you're just drawn to. You don't know why. You rarely know why when you're young and you're just drawn to a certain person or character. It's years later where you're like, oh, because she was fighting for rights. She was standing up to the man. She had balls.
And because I'm a homosexual, that's why.
Yeah. And that voice, that's like, oh God,
the husky. Do it. Yeah, that voice is like always
husky yet high pitched at the same time. It's a really weird combination. And she's, we're clearly soldiers in petticoats. It's such a distinctive, beautiful voice. I love it.
It's fantastic. It was fantastic. And she had a pretty fun little 90s here before she retired. She did this, and she did While You Were Sleeping.
Ref too. Oh,
and The Ref.
While We're Sleeping,
The Ref. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which y'all, if you haven't seen The Ref.
Those were... okay, one was Touchstone, one was Hollywood. Yeah. So that was... Yeah, that's a good run there. Good 90s for her.
I think so. Yeah, if you're gonna
good movies,
gonna retire after that, that's a good trio to kind of go out on.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way, y'all, if you haven't seen The Ref, fantastic movie. I think we did an episode on it in our other podcast. Such a good cult movie.
Still manifesting that Blu-ray for that and for this movie. For
this movie, I was gonna say, how do we not have a Blu-ray for Superstar?
I know.
It's so rude. I hope that just talking about it like ignites something, because we need a Blu-ray. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might have did we do our Drop Dead Gorgeous episode before the Blu-ray was out?
Yeah, we did. We definitely had a whole campaign, and eventually got a Blu-ray. So who knows? Maybe we had some pull there. Please, Papa, can you find me a 4K? Oh, that would be amazing. And just in time for Christmas, maybe just spring it on us. Yeah,
spring it on us. Surprise,
so
Superstar.
So great, Superstar.
And The Ref, of course, and The Ref.
And The Ref,
but that's Disney. I think Disney owns that, so we're just kind of screwed with that, I guess.
Yeah, they're starting to get kind of bad about what they release.
Although I think Vinegar Syndrome is doing a lot of like Disney-owned stuff. I think they're doing 54, I think, is coming out.
I saw, but
or is that Lionsgate now? I don't know.
I think it was them, but I was reading about that release, and they're doing the 4K of the theatrical cut, but not the director's cut, which is the only one that's really watchable. And it's like, well, then I'm not going to spend that much money
upsetting.
for it.
I guess they lost the materials.
It's hard to upscale and things like that. But but it's also just like, I'm not buying it. You're not going to,
It's upsetting. It is really sad that they can't find the materials. They can't find the negatives of those.
There's so many movies like that before digital, everything just got lost on some videotape somewhere in some gay man's apartment, and we're never gonna see it again.
They didn't care.
like Sugar and Spice, you know, that movie's turned 25 this year. I would love to see the original cut of that movie, but like, again, I think it's just sitting in some gay man's apartment somewhere, and we're never going to see it again on some lost VHS tape.
Tragic. It's tragic. It's going to end up at like a Goodwill or something, and they're going to be like, Sugar and Spice. What is this, a kids' TV show? Don't want that.
I was gonna like talk about some other stuff that was going on in 1999, but you know, we're flying through here, so I think let's just briefly some production stuff here. If you don't know, I'm not gonna get into too much of this, but you know, this of course grew out of Molly Shannon's hugely popular Mary Katherine Gallagher character, which debuted on Saturday Night Live in 1995. And you know, it was this. If you've seen the movie, you kind of know this character, but she's this sort of overly enthusiastic Catholic schoolgirl. And these recurring sketches became very popular and people just loved them. And eventually this production studio formed in 1997 that started putting out more of these SNL movies. It was called SNL Studios. And they did 3 movies. They did A Night at the Roxbury, which is fun. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's fun.
I need to watch that again. It's been a long time. It's
goofy. It kind of feels like a similar universe as Superstar, especially with Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon in it. Chris Kattan also, I think he's like super hot. Is that weird to say? Like, I've always thought he was like really attractive.
I think that's fair. I think he's like a little like sex gremlin or something.
Yeah,
I can see him getting kind of freaky. I might be into that. I never thought of, you know, he's really cute in House on Haunted Hill. I think he's really cute there.
He's really cute in that. He's really cute in that. I watched Corky Romano for I think the first time. I don't think I saw it when it came out, and he's like really cute in that too. It's
all I remember is the you guys want some cookies? That's the only thing I remember, and I remember just thinking that was the funniest thing at the time.
There's a scene where he's driving around. It's like the opening scene. He's driving around in a car while "Take on Me" is playing by Aha, and he's just like belting it out the whole time. And I'm like, yes, this is what I need in my life right now. This is I don't know. This is what I need.
Chris Kattan, sex symbol.
Chris Kattan,
man.
But yeah, they did Night at the Roxbury, Superstar, and The Ladies' Man with Tim Meadows, which I've seen that, but it's been a while. Didn't really like it as much as the other two, but Superstar, fantastic. So yeah, that is really kind of how everything came about. You know, there was this shakeup in SNL around this time period where they had reshuffled a lot of the cast members and fired some people and brought on new people. Molly Shannon survived that shuffle. Like, she was on for 1 year before then, but then they brought in all these other people like Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry and Daryl Hammond and Rachel Dratch and Tracy Morgan and Anna Gasteyer and Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey and Maya Rudolph. And just like, again, like you look back and you're like, man, that was a great list of comics there that were on the show in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Bunch of hacks, really. I mean,
a bunch of
no talent at all.
No, that they didn't do anything, right?
God, that was a great cast. That really was. I don't know if I'm thinking that just because like that was when I was a kid, and that's, you know, and so like our parents would think like the original 70s cast was the best or whatever. But for me personally, just having seen all the casts, there was something about that chemistry. It felt like they all clicked really well, and they were very creative and came up with these really interesting characters that you wanted to see again and again.
Yeah. I think I think it became especially more character driven during that era. But yeah, they were all fantastic, and then they all went on to do a lot of great things too, which I think you know just shows that they were a pretty great cast. 30 Rock is 20 years old this year. Can you believe that? It's turning 20 in
shut up.
September or October or something. I know it's crazy.
God bless it.
It's fucking crazy.
Just beat me in the head with a hammer. I can't.
It just keeps getting more and more bleak, man. I think I posted and you comment on that. The Will and Grace, not Will and Grace, mind you, the Will and Grace reboot next year will be turning 10 years old.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Like, time has just become this ridiculous, and it's so weird. Again, that we're approaching 40, so we're approaching middle age, and it's like, is this just what it was like for everyone? Like, do they go through this, or is it because we're living through this singularly terrible time in history that makes time feel so fucking weird? It's so weird to be entering middle age during this era, you know?
Exactly. I mean, there was always horrible things that were happening, Vietnam and AIDS and all these horrible things that have happened.
Of course.
There is something very strange about this particular time that it's just, it's like like we've talked about, like AI is taking over, and what's that going to look like, and the climate change and all these things, and it's just everything's going so fast yet kind of slow at the same time. It's
like we said, the pandemic made everything feel very weird, and of course, just the political era that we've been in for the past decade has made everything very strange. So it's very hard to separate sometimes. Like, okay, am I just having a midlife crisis, or about to, or is it just because the world is shitty and everybody's feeling?
Yeah, I've been on the verge of a crisis for like 3 years now, and I'm like, when's it gonna when is this going to boil over and really turn into like a full-fledged one? And it's like, well, I can't do what like our parents would have done and like buy a new house or buy a car. Who can afford that?
No, can't afford that. So it
can't.
And that stuff ends up being pretty hollow in the long run anyway. Like, it makes you feel good for a while, but then eventually it gets old. People associate, not that having money is it's probably not going to make you feel worse, but like it's also not going to solve all your problems either. Folks, let me tell you.
Of course not. No.
It
is very strange. We're definitely in a very odd time. And,
it is, and I think that's partly why I was like, man, I'm feeling really nostalgic for like 25, 30 years ago lately. I'm feeling nostalgic for the movies and just the kind of more fun culture, the fact that they're really, before 9/11, of course, which that just kind of made the country go insane. But before then, it was kind of boring in the late 90s there. The biggest thing was the Clinton, Monica Lewinsky stuff, which is like, if that's the worst thing that's going on, like, give me 1998
now. Absolutely quaint to think about that.
God,
it's so bizarre. And also just, we had so much color. Like, movies were, they were filled with color. You watch a movie like Clueless and it's just, yellows and blues and reds and pinks, and it's just flying everywhere. If they made that now, it would be like, oh, gray sludge.
It's shot on digital, so it's not gonna have like any detail, and
ugly.
It's sad. And it's like, I feel like we had Barbie a couple years ago, which like tried to be this big, colorful, campy thing, and it was a huge hit. And you'd think, and I think if it had come out of the 90s, that studio heads would have learned from that like, we need to, have more stuff like this. But now, this is my little like, conspiracy theory here, but I think Hollywood is controlled by different people, like the big tech billionaires and the Silicon Valley types that like, they just don't appreciate that stuff as much anymore. And I think we're all suffering from that.
Yeah.
We're not getting fun shit anymore because they're not ready for the fun shit, apparently, because they're all like really fucking depressed themselves, I guess, because they don't want to see, fun movies.
Well, and I think that's why they're pushing AI so hard, is because they feel like it's going to be able to crank out multiple films that are going to be guaranteed box office hits. They'll say, I want a Star Wars film with this character and that character. I want this one to do that and that one to do that. Write me a script by the next 20 minutes or whatever. I don't even really think it takes that long these days.
No, not these days.
And they'll just crank it out and they'll just give it to a director who just wants a job, and a cast that's just like, oh, it's a Star Wars film, it's going to be a big hit. The script's not great, but sure, we're getting paid. And they make these forgettable little movies that they think are going to be box office hits, and they recently we've been seeing it's not working out that way. And I'm getting a little optimistic about it, because Backrooms and Obsession, they've done so well. These are original films made by original people.
The Housemaid, that was a huge fucking box
wonderful.
Office hit.
That was so much fun. So
close to Marvel money.
We need that.
Like, it's insane. Yeah. Yes. That's what I mean. I think
like that.
I think in this late 2020s, there is starting to be a shift. And I think it's gonna be a little slow. I don't think it's gonna happen all at once, but I have seen some signs this year that are telling me that, like, okay, I think people are craving some original stuff and they're starting to crave some campy stuff again.
Absolutely.
And that's, again, partly why I want to do this podcast, because I'm like, let me capture some of this nostalgia that I think is going to start to boil up here, because we're reaching this like 25, 30 year nostalgia pendulum of everything. So
it's great. I really hope that people learn the right lessons from these box office hits. Yeah. And they they give talented, creative people just $1 million. All they need is Obsession was made for what, like 75,000 or something? That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. So just keep giving people that much and say, free reign, do what you want, and the people will come.
And that's kind of what they were doing in the 90s and
Mm-hmm.
early 2000s with these comedies, especially. Like, this
Right.
movie was not crazy expensive to make. You know, I mean, you had to pay some of the stars and stuff, so that you know, brought up the budget. But yeah, I mean, just give people some money and let them kind of go do their thing, and you will probably get that money back times, you know,
Sure.
10, as long, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just different times, and we'll see how things unfold.
Yeah.
But back to Superstar here.
Yeah.
Screenplay by Mr. Steve Coren, who was mostly known for SNL and Seinfeld, and he did some Veep episodes and A Night at the Roxbury, a lot of stuff. And of course, Molly Shannon got a story credit here too, because she created this character. Also, something that I forgot, you know about Molly Shannon's like childhood, right? Like
yeah, like her mom died, right? And then
yes, so
I think
there was this car.
Yeah, it was a car crash, right?
There was a car crash, and she was only 4 years old, and her dad, I believe, was driving, but her mom died. I think a sister died, a cousin died. So, and I was thinking about that watching this movie, because I'm like, oh, that's really brave of her to take something from her past and ingrain that in the storyline of this movie too, because she loses her parents, you know, at a young age in this movie in a ridiculous way. But
it's, I mean,
with the
I don't
step
think
dance.
many people are clogged to death.
No.
Maybe 3, 4.
More of them are eaten by hammerhead sharks, but you know.
Yeah, maybe. I've never done the research, but you know, look, it's possible. I don't know.
It's possible. Oh gosh.
Happened a lot in the 90s. It was very
apparently
a big thing. We're trying to pretend like the 90s was so great, but there was an epidemic of hammerhead shark.
There was a
eatings.
But it was hard to get them with lasers on their head, as we learned from Austin Powers, you know?
That's
like,
right.
Give me a shark with freaking laser beams on my head, you know? But it was hard.
We learn a lot from Austin Powers. We can really learn a lot.
There's a sequence in this that reminded me of Austin Powers. It's when they're doing all the like fashion stuff. Do you remember her and her friend are like pretending like they're supermodels?
Documentary hour.
Yeah, that reminded me very much of like some of the Austin Powers scenes and stuff.
That might be my favorite part. No, I don't know. Oh, this is one of those movies where it's hard to say what your favorite part is. But there was my friends and I in college would do that a lot because we love this movie so much, and we'd just say it's documentary hour, and we would just be like, 3 of the most gorgeous girls rising hell, and we would just start doing it. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb.
I was going to ask you.
I love it.
Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
Yeah, I did see it in theaters because
Cool.
99, jam-packed year. I mean, I
There
don't
was
know how
lots to keep
anybody
track
saw
of.
everything, unless you
No,
were, you know, a critic and you had to go see everything. How do you see it all?
I somehow missed this in theaters, even though I love this character.
I did
was,
too.
Again,
I don't know why.
There was so much going on. So yeah.
So I think it was a video rental at first.
Yeah, me too.
And
Me too.
I don't think I loved it when I first saw it. I thought it was cute. It was fun. But I thought, okay, that was nice. I'll probably never watch that again. And then in college, we were like, what do we want to watch tonight? It was like my second year, and my friends were like, have y'all seen Superstar? And I was like, yeah, years ago. And she's like, let's watch that. And I was like, okay, sure, you know, can't hurt.
Yeah.
And we were laughing so fucking hard at like 11 o'clock at night in a dorm that the guy that lived next to her had to text us and say, guys, I love Molly Shannon too, but can you keep it down? Because we were laughing so hard. I felt terrible, but I felt great too, because it was a good laugh. It was a great laugh. Yeah.
I had a similar experience too, where one of my friends in college really loved this movie, and she was like, hey, let's watch it. And I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. And yeah, it was a blast. Something about it that,
It's really weird how like a movie can, you know, you first watch it and you think it's okay, but then years later, all of a sudden it becomes a favorite. It's like, it's just, I think some movies grow on you, or you don't see them at the right time. And when you finally do, it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life?
What I'm realizing lately is a lot of these campy movies, that even the ones that I didn't love at the time, like a movie like Sugar and Spice, which I liked when it came out, but I didn't love it. I watch it now and I'm like, this is really funny. And I think it's because we're not getting them anymore. So it makes even the kind of like not great ones from the past seem even funnier than they were.
Absolutely. I am seeing people comment all the time on stuff like, oh, this movie's such a classic. It's so brilliant. And I'm like, this movie was despised by everyone when it was released. It made no money. And it's almost heartwarming in a way that a film that
Yep.
comes out, it does no business, everyone seems to hate it. 20, 30 years down the road, it has this fan base of people that love it so much. They know all the lines. They've seen it a million times. It's beautiful. It's so lovely.
Even the Academy of Motion Pictures and Science, has been forced to grapple with some of this. They've had this whole like camp series of films where they've done like, God, I don't know, Showgirls and Elvira and like all these movies. And I'm like, a Jawbreaker. I'm like, oh, great. You're finally acknowledging that people actually like fucking love this. What did I see recently? They had a post about Red Eye. And I was like, man, you guys didn't give a shit about Red Eye when it came out. Now you're posting about it on your, Instagram. I'm like,
isn't it fascinating?
It's really interesting.
I see that all the time where they'll post like, happy birthday to, such and such actor, and they'll show a clip from a film that, got horrible reviews at the time and was not nominated for anything by the Academy for sure. And you'll see people comment and be like, oh, so now you want to acknowledge her wonderful work in this movie. Really? That's interesting. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. What is with that? It's like how sometimes people wait for someone to be dead before they say anything nice about them. And like, where were you when they were alive? How dare you?
Where were you?
Support them while they're alive. Oh.
It's true. And it's always a matter, I think, of like, depending on the era that you're living in, like in the 90s and early 2000s, there were just a ton of comedies. So I think you could be a little more choosy about like, what you watched and loved and whatever. But like, now that we're living in an era where there's just not much, like you have to go back like 25, 30 years to find these comedies again. Yeah. And I think that's always part of it. Like when something is super popular for like more than 5 years or so, people start to get angsty and they're like, okay, this is boring. We've seen this. I was just talking with Mark about this on, we did Josie and the Pussycats recently. We did an episode about that. And that movie was a box office flop. It didn't do well. And yet it's a huge kind of cult hit now. And I think, again, part of it was just that it was coming on the tail end of all these other comedies in the late 90s, leading into the early 2000s. And I think people were just kind of like getting bored with it. And it just happens, And I hope that we've reached the point right now where people are bored with these dull, humorless dramas and superhero movies, because it's been like over a fucking decade of this,
It is.
So it's time for something else,
We really need it. We need it desperately.
We really need it.
If there's any takeaway from this episode, just bring back ridiculous comedies. Please.
Bring back
begging
fun.
You. Please.
Just,
we can't
they
do
don't
it.
have to be serious. It would be nice, if they had characters that you care about, which this film does. I think you do. I care about Mary throughout this movie.
I do.
And of course, Glynis, her grandma.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want with these comedies. Like, just make it funny. You got to make me laugh. That's what RuPaul always says. You got to make me laugh. I don't care about anything else. You just got to make me,
Yeah. Just be funny.
Yeah, just be funny. But yeah, almost down here. But Bruce McCulloch, we'll go with that, was hired to direct. And he's kind of best known for The Kids in the Hall, which there are a couple Kids in the Hall people in this movie, so it makes sense. That was a big thing around this time period.
Yeah, I had forgotten he was the one who directed this. I was like, from Kids in the Hall? I had no idea.
There were multiple things about the behind the scenes of this movie that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, I'm not going to get too much into the production side. Otherwise, y'all can go read about it. But we kind of talked about the cast in this movie. Of course, Molly Shannon, Glynis Johns. We talked about her. Elaine Hendricks. This was a great decade for her too. She had done the Parent Trap and Romeo and Michelle.
Romeo and Michelle.
Yeah. She's really funny in this too.
There was a movie she was in. It was like a early 90s horror film. It might have been like straight to video. It was like Last Dance or something. I remember being like, oh, like she popped up in that, and I was like, oh, Elaine Hendricks, what are you doing here? She just recently was in a production of Hello, Dolly.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, on stage. I was like, I didn't know she sang. I think she was on like Dancing with the Stars at some point or something.
I always love when you find out that these stars are like great singers or great dancers.
It's great.
And, it's wonderful.
Well, because they don't really make movie musicals, but like maybe 3 times every 15 years. So it's like you don't really get to see them. and they always
they're having
cast
too much
people who
anymore.
can't sing. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just nice to know when they can.
Then they actually can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely.
She had a nice little run here in the 90s. Usually kind of the bitchy character, in the Parent Trap and in this. And she starts out that way in Romy and Michelle, but then she actually ends up being kind of chill. But yeah, there's very funny moments between Elaine Hendricks and Molly Shannon in this. Like that whole, I always remember that the fight is so
beautiful.
funny. Like,
Just, oh my
I'm gonna
titty.
kick your ass. Yeah, my titty.
Yo ass. That's so ridiculous. Go drink a bottle of yourself. It's just genius. Because have we mentioned that her name is Evian?
Evian, yeah, which it's hilarious.
Popular fancy drinking water back in the day.
Yes.
It was a little bit bougie, and it's just a perfect name for a character like this. What's her last name? Funny. Like Evian? Like
I can't
Carter
remember.
or Sinclair or so. I don't. God,
something like that. Remember. Yeah,
but it's funny. It's so good, and she's so good.
You should really be
Elaine
embarrassed.
Is so good.
She's just so good, yeah. Because your parents named you after bottled water. I think Molly Shannon's performance in this, it's just so like, for a comedy, a ridiculous comedy, it's so nuanced because you don't know. She's so unpredictable. Like, sometimes she'll be very kind of pulled back and like, sometimes I'll put my fingers under my arms, but then she'll just like, but then she'll just like, break, and it's hilarious. Like
I feel like with a few slight tonal shifts, this could be a really scary movie. Like she could be an absolute psychopath.
Oh, totally. I mean,
like when you think about it, like what's the real difference between this movie and say like Pearl? What's the real difference? Like a little bit of a tonal shift. That's really it. Like
that's about it. That's about it.
And she never technically kills anybody in this. I mean, she sort of kills the dog, and then the dog comes back. But which I always forget about. I'm like, oh, they kill a dog in this, and then I see.
But then she's fine.
And then I'm like, what? I always forget. There's so many things in this I forget every time.
Yes,
so many gags.
That little dog, which reminds me of Gonk from Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Like it's the same type of dog.
It's just awesome. And I was amazed by her performance last night because like you said, there are so many little nuances, and you feel bad for her, but you understand like how she's considered so weird because I mean she does like for her confessions at school, she just is like, I would like to confess through a monologue from a made-for-TV movie. Like it's all.
Yeah, that she doesn't know how to express herself, so she has to do it through these made-for-TV movies. It's just, or the sheer initiation of quality, Sarah.
You are your own rainbow, which I don't think is actually a line from the movie because I've seen the movie. I don't remember because I know I saw this movie before I saw that. And so the whole time I was just like waiting, like, where's the line? Where's the line? I don't think Shelley Winters ever says that line. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. But
it's been a while. I've seen. I don't
remember her saying it.
A good while. Yeah.
Also a great little movie to watch. But
yes. Yeah. Oh, there's
TV
also
movie is great.
Yeah, there's so many great TV references in this. The boy in the plastic bubble, which like 2 years later you had the remake with. Jake Gyllenhaal, the Bubble Boy,
which I only recently saw like a couple of years ago.
Fun. It's chaotic.
It's ridiculous. I kind of enjoyed it. There's a lot going on in
that movie. Yeah, it's fun. I think there's a Silence of the Lambs reference. And multiple Carrie references, like we said.
Lots of Carrie.
Yeah, even she says it, but then later on, of course, she drops the paint on her, which is very reminiscent of Carrie and stuff. So yeah, you could totally recut this as a horror movie, I think, fairly easily.
Like with some of the expressions that she has, like you really could probably mine this for gold if you were going to be like what if Superstar was a horror movie? I think you could do that. There's so many bits.
Yeah.
And she's really great with the environment. I mean, she's really supportive of the trees. She's really giving them a lot of love.
Some might say a little too supportive, but
maybe
it's
it is what gets her into special ed. So I mean, it's maybe not. Maybe she's not developing correctly.
Yeah, that's how they interpret it anyway. They're like, clearly. I just think she's super emotional, and I think
so too.
Again. she doesn't know how to express herself. So she either has to do it through this like made for TV monologue, or she has to, be talking to a stop sign or a tree, and it's kind of relatable, I think, sometimes when you're in high school, and if you don't know how to express yourself and you kind of practice what you're going to say. I still to this day, like, will just be talking to myself sometimes, just, nobody responds. So I don't think I have like voices in my head, but, I'll just be, if I'm rehearsing, but even for like, podcasting, whatever, I'll just be kind of like, okay, like, what am I going to say? Or like, blah, 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 so rehearsing sort of, things.
Yeah, I'll do that all the time. I do find this character very relatable and in very strange ways, because
I think so.
It's like you said, she doesn't really know how to express herself. She has no outlet, and she's kind of an outcast, and I can relate to that. I felt like I was in school at at certain points, and she loves fame. She loves
fame. She's a theater kid. Fame. She's
and I remember I was gonna bring in that song Out Here on My Own when I was a kid. There was in music class, they were like, bring your favorite songs, and I had just become obsessed with the movie Fame. I had the little cassette tape, and I was like, I'm gonna bring that in, and nobody liked it, and I was so sad. I was like heartbroken because they were all like, here's Hanson, and I'm like, okay, well, I have Irene Cara, so suck it. And they were like, who is that? Who is Irene Cara? Have you heard of Britney Spears? She's much cooler than Irene Cara. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. How dare you? How dare they? So I felt that. I felt like Mary Katherine and I were like kindred spirits,
Yeah, totally. I was going to ask you, like, I try to pick films for this podcast that they're cult films, but they're also cult films that I think resonate with queer people in particular. And I think this is one of those movies, that for the reasons you said, that I think she's kind of treated as this sort of outcast. She loves theater, we tend to gravitate towards movies with strong female leads anyway. So that helps. And it's Glynis Johns, of course, with the anytime you have this legendary Broadway actress, I think there are so many things that make this movie, particularly, and I think that's partly why this movie is not as well regarded these days, is because it is this sort of queer coded campy femme thing that only like straight people allow a certain, it's like they have a quota for those. Like they'll allow Mean Girls, they'll allow Clueless, but that's about it, from this era. But then all these other ones, they're kind of like, whatever. Those are just, whatever.
Yeah.
They're still really fun. Like, this movie is really fun.
Also, she's kind of complicated because there are times where she is, if I were to encounter her in the real world, I wouldn't always know how to approach her. I mean, she is very weird. Yeah. I mean,
she's strange. Yeah.
We've of course mentioned the tree making out and stuff, and jumping into piles of chairs. But she's just, there is something kind of strange about her, and I think it can be off-putting to certain people. So she's kind of an oddball character to begin with. So she's not. It's not just that she's that this is a film about a woman and a woman's perspective. She's a very weird woman.
Yes, this is true.
It's almost like the movie May. Like that's a movie where I can totally understand why people would be a little uncomfortable, because she is a very strange character. You don't know how to approach her. You don't know like how to read her. At times you're like, okay, she can be funny, she can be charming, but she kind of there is a moment or two where you're like, she's kind of creeping me out. Like when she kind of talks like that, and she's just very very soft, and she kind of goes like that, and she's very like, you're like, what is she thinking? What does she have a knife? Is she about to cut me? Like there is a level where I can see why people are kind of uncomfortable with her, because she's so awkward. And like you said, unpredictable. She can be very quiet and all of a sudden, go backflip, and just like, go into a pile of chairs. And but it's a fascinating character, and she gives her so much dignity in a weird way. And I noticed last night that a lot of times they just kind of put the camera on her and just hold. It'll just be a minute and a half of her just at the mirror, just touching her breasts and just going like, like this one, is bigger than this one, and this is
Yes,
the mommy,
yes.
and this is the and they hold hands because they're friends, and she's just doing shtick, and you wonder, was this in the script or is this just completely improvised?
I'm sure it was mostly improvised. Yeah, there's probably like 3 hours of outtakes that they just didn't use, like with Robin Williams. Like, you always hear like there's like all these outtakes that never made it into the movie that were very funny too.
The NC-17 version of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire, which I gotta see it. Gotta see it.
It's like a holy grail. Come on, Fox. We need it.
Find it and give us a Blu-ray for Superstar, because I did. There's an HD transfer of this. I watched it on Amazon. Like, it's out there. They just need to throw it on a disc for us.
That's what drives me nuts. These transfers are out there,
but they don't put it on disc.
We'll just keep it on streaming. So if you want to buy it or rent it, which you can't really buy anything now on streaming, because there's all these things about, like, I bought this movie 8 years ago and now it's gone from my library. Where did it go?
It's gone. Yeah. You really have to own. You have to own something if you want to. If you want to keep it.
That's right.
I wonder if the music rights might be part of it for this movie too, because there are some songs that maybe that would be holding it up. But
maybe
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. It's hopefully, it'll materialize at some point. But the rest of the cast here, is great too. Will Ferrell has some very funny moments. He's kind of hit or miss for me, honestly. Like, sometimes I think he's very funny, and sometimes I'm kind of like, whatever. I think when you got into the later 2000s, like some of the movies that were coming out with him in it, I was kind of like, whatever. But like this early period, like with like Zoolander too, I think he's very funny in Zoolander.
Oh, absolutely.
But he has some just funny throwaway lines in this. Like, oh God, he's just walking by some guy and he's like, "Hey dude, sorry your dad's dead." And I'm like, it just makes me laugh.
I think that's like his first line in the movie. It's
the first thing he says. Like,
"Hey Bert, sorry your dad's dead."
It's just so matter of fact.
There's one where he's just like, "Hey Bartholomew, cool name," or something.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. It's random.
It's just so random, understated.
Yeah.
And when he does the whole like, "You have some nice moves," and then it just lingers on him for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Moves.
Oh God.
It cracks me.
I love the bit where he's broken up with Evian and she comes to his house and his mom answers the door and she's just like, "Oh hey, I brought this for Sky," and she's like, "Is he here?" And he just walks by and it's like, "No, I'm not." And the mom's like, "I'll tell him you came." And then she's like, "Just tell him to call me." It's like, "Nope, not happening." Just like walking by.
It's so
just
funny.
constantly. It's such a good bit.
No, he was very funny in the late 90s and early 2000s too. Like, just again, this whole cast is fantastic. Her friend, who like I don't know from much else, but she's hilarious in this.
What has she done? She has to have done something. I love the energy that she brings. It's like it's the strangest energy I've ever seen in my life. It's like it's this weird, like, she's always kind of like this. She's like, "Hey, Mary, you want to come get a really good sloppy Joseph?" She's like, this is an odd character.
It's very strange. The actress's name is Emmy Laybourne, and I think she's mostly a novelist now. I was looking up kind of, but I don't think she has done a whole lot of acting other than this. But yeah, great performance. So,
she's so good. Yeah, it's like it's very like it seems this movie actually feels kind of like it has a kind of Strangers with Candy vibe. I guess
totally.
Because, like,
now that you say that,
because it's campy. It's in a high school, and there's a lot of people that are over 30 playing teenagers. So there's like this sort of weird semi brother sister vibe.
Wet Hot American Summers and kind of that too. Yeah,
it's got like it's cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
totally.
It would pair very well with that show, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. Everyone's kind of living in this heightened state of reality where like it's kind of reality, but then this really ridiculous thing happens that takes you out completely.
Yeah, I think that makes it so much funnier because now maybe they were intentionally trying to parody movies like Grease, where there were like Stockard Channing was like 34 when she was Rizzo or something. So it's like maybe that's what they were trying to do. Like, let's
could be
fun of that, because that movie just had its like 20th anniversary when this was made, so maybe that was part of the conversation. Could be. Yeah. Also, like, Molly Shannon was in her 30s at the time, and they were like, "Okay, we need to cast other 30 somethings to surround her so it doesn't look completely bizarre."
Yes. Yeah.
But it works. It does play with that heightened reality where it's like, yeah, this could kind of be real. It's sort of like real things that could happen in a Catholic school. I mean, I went to Catholic school. It's not.
I was gonna say, yeah,
it's not that
would
far
know. You would
off.
know.
I mean, there's
you would know.
but it's kind of surreal in a weird way too, because there's all these like random fantasy sequences, and then as we mentioned, Will Ferrell is Jesus, which I think my favorite line of his is in the first appearance that he has as Jesus, and he appears and Mary Katherine goes like, "Oh my God," and he goes, "Oh my me," or something. Like, it's so
yes, so funny,
so good. Oh, so great. So yeah, there's like all these weird little asides and that I think, you know, kind of are maybe there to pad their runtime. They were probably like, there's not really a lot of plot in this movie.
I think so.
Really?
That was kind of the issue with a lot of these SNL movies, that like they were based on skits. I keep saying sketches, and then you have to like turn them into a full movie. And a lot of times, they would have to sort of just stretch out a lot of these, like you said, scenes of her just like staring in the mirror, like my breasts, you know, like, you know, that kind of thing. And it's funny to watch, but yeah, you do kind of feel sometimes like, okay, like, is this just here to, you know, fill in the runtime? Because this is not a long movie. It's like 80 minutes long. It's like barely long enough to be.
Breeze of a movie.
Yeah.
I completely forgotten. It's like 82 minutes or something. It's like nothing.
Yeah, it's very short. It's very short. Which is another problem with comedies. Again, we keep aside here, but like to these days, everything's like fucking 2 hours long. I don't need a 2 hour long comedy.
No,
come on.
I think John Waters once said no comedy should be over 90 minutes. I think some of his are like maybe 94. So he kind of broke his rule a few times. But
if it's like a dramedy, okay. But if it's like a true comedy, it does not need to be over 90 minutes.
No,
like, just doesn't.
Absolutely
Sorry.
not. Although I think how long was Bridesmaids? That was like 2 hours, right?
But even that one was more kind of it was more kind of dramedy toward the end, though. Like it started out very campy, and then it did get more kind of dramatic. So I think that one kind of earned its runtime. But yeah,
it had a lot of plot. It had a lot of like hefty character arcs and things of that sort.
Like, whereas this movie, like, pretty simple plot. Like, it's a pretty a girl. She's trying to get into the talent show because she wants to, you know, really, well, her motivation initially is she just wants to
get a kiss.
Like,
it's just a kiss,
which is very Never Been Kissed, which also came out the same year, which is maybe partly why this didn't do as well either because it has the same basic premise.
Like, we have another elderly high school student film, you know, where she shouldn't be in a high school, but she is. That's another problematic fave, according to the kids these days.
Gosh, those kids. What do they watch? Like boring shit, like the most boring TikToks ever.
Teletubbies, I guess. I don't know.
My God,
beats me.
I mean, it is strange.
It's Michael Vartan. Can we not give him a pass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Come on.
Like he didn't. I like to think he always suspected that she was not a real high school student. Maybe. Maybe.
There are definitely things about that movie that I definitely want to cover that movie at some point. It's strange watching these movies sometimes in that regard, because there is some stuff that it's like, man, that's kind of cringy by today's standard, and really should have been cringy by back then too.
It does kind of make you think like, wow, we let a lot of shit slide back in the day, didn't we? Some of these movies were just playing everywhere. They were playing like uncut at like 2 p.m. on a Saturday. Kids were just watching like 16 Candles, where like, oh my God. Like rewatching that was a terrifying experience. I was like, Jesus
There's
Christ.
So much racist shit in that movie.
The racism. Molly Ringwald like is the lead, and she calls Anthony Michael Hall like a anti-gay slur, and we're like, you go, girl. Like,
there's definitely
everything
stuff in
about
that
it is like, Jesus Christ. And we watched this and we didn't question anything.
No. I mean, it's a now like 40-year-old movie. Like, what are you gonna, what are you going to do? It's
unbelievable.
I don't know. It's just different times. That said, people who get on their high horse and think that we are now living in this like age of enlightenment have not been looking around at how society is going backwards. So, when I hear people talk about these movies and they're like, oh, that's so problematic. I'm like, women these days have fewer rights in many states than they did like 20 years ago, thanks to Roe versus Wade being ended and all these other shitty things that are happening. So I would not get off your fucking high horse and acknowledge that, yes, there were a lot of problematic things back then, but there are a lot of problematic things right now. Too,
Oh yeah.
you know?
In some ways, it's never been worse. I mean, it's
in some ways
horrifying,
and it's yeah. So just keep that in your mind, folks, when you're watching these older movies. That like it's easy to judge them and be like, no, that was so problematic and blah 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 blah. But it's like, man, shit's still happening, man. It's
I just don't
sexism
remember,
is still
like when you were watching I Love Lucy as a kid,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm sure you were kind of like, like the way Lucy responds to Ricky, like it's always yes sir, and there's like an episode
Yeah.
where he spanks her. Do you
Spanks
remember
her,
that?
yeah.
And it's
I
like
do.
I remember seeing that and being like, okay, that's weird. We don't do that now, right? But like, I can still enjoy the show because it's not always like that.
Exactly.
But you can be like, it was maybe part of the time, and
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't support it. It's fucking weird, but
Yeah.
it's still a good show for the most part.
It is. Yeah.
I mean-
Yeah. That's you have to, you take the bad with the good sometimes.
Yeah.
And again, like if you are going to write off all these comedies from the 90s, then you're not going to have any comedies to watch because like
No.
they don't make comedies anymore, folks. So
No,
if you just want to
no.
like not laugh about anything, then keep enjoying your boring, depressing life. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I would like to know what they watch. That is a good question.
Yeah.
What do they watch?
I think it's a lot of TikToks and a lot of instant 30-second clips of things, and I'm like, man, this is just. Whew, it's
They would be
back.
happy. They would
1999.
be much happier if they watched this instead. I think.
I think so. Again, just great cast. So many interesting little characters here.
Mhm.
Eric Slater, of course, is Harlan Williams, I should say. is
Harlan
the actor,
Williams,
of course,
yeah.
But Eric Slater, the character. I remember him most from Rocket Man for whatever reason. I feel like that movie was always on TV. I don't know why.
Rocket Man. Jesus. Every time I think I've blacked that film out of my
it comes
memory,
back into your consciousness.
Something or someone jogs my
brings
memory.
it back. Yeah. Mhm.
And that was like Shelley Duvall was his mom in that, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And the only thing that I remember about that was her and Scream, I guess, had been re-released at that point, and I snuck in and I saw like a little clip from that because I was like, this movie's not doing it for me. I'm a little more sophisticated. I think it's time I went to see Scream. I am 7 years old now. I think it's time. Yeah. And so I just remember like sneaking in and being like, oh, a TV's on someone's head. Oh, it's exciting.
Yes.
So
it's
fun.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it at all, but yeah, he did that and Dumb and Dumber, and like I think he was in there something about Mary. He was one of those actors that would just kind of pop up in a lot of these comedies from time to time.
What was the one? Sorority Boys.
Sorority
That's what I
Boys.
always.
Oh God.
I think of him from that. Also, I feel
Now,
I'm sure that has held up.
That
very
movie
well.
has not held up very well.
I'm sure it's fresh as a daisy, Kevin. Please.
Yeah,
It could have
I
been
feel
made
like
yesterday.
I think I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, there's some things happening in this.
God bless it.
But yeah, it's just all the weird little campy, quirky, oddball comedies that came out in this era. Again, they would give anybody, just give them a couple $1 million and just go shoot something, and then often they'd make their money back. But
I mean, they really didn't cost much. It was like, okay, you've got one set. We have a frat house, a sorority house, a school.
Go have fun. Yeah, go have fun.
Do a thing, and
go
they
wild.
did.
Go wild. Yeah, make people laugh. That's most of the cast. I mean, Mark McKinney's pretty funny in this too, as the father. Williams, another Kids in the Hall carry over there.
I do love the bit with the toast that's just like completely blackened, and he's just going. It's just like crunching so hard, and then at the end he's like, "I don't mean to point fingers, but who's the one that broke the good toaster?" And all of the nuns just turn to the one in the middle and are like, shady ass nuns. I love that bit.
Oh, it's so funny.
Really funny.
Just the whole exchange he has with Mary in his office is so funny. Where he's like, "Well, what's that horrible thing you said to Sister Eileen?" And she's like, "I told her to move her big white butt, or I would cold cock her honky ass." What is it? We just got Spike Lee. Oh, her job is a rewind girl. Which, I don't think, maybe in like the biggest cities, but I don't think that itself was a job. Like it was usually the employee who worked at the video. So the video store clerk would rewind the movie. So that is such a funny little.
I will say in most stores, they would always encourage you to rewind. Sometimes there'd be a fee, as we all know, but a lot of times I would rent a movie. It would not be rewound. I don't think most of them cared. They were just like,
No.
they brought it back, and that's enough.
God, yeah, it's crazy thinking about like how big of a thing that was back then. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to always rewind the movie. Or you got the rewind fee, or you know, you got it and it wasn't rewound, and yeah, that's
It was, and the worst was like when it wasn't rewound, you would rewind it, and somehow the tape would break as you were rewinding it. And you're like,
God,
what do
yeah.
I do now? I didn't break it. I didn't mean to. I wanted to watch the movie.
I
You had
would
to bring
usually
it
just
back.
I would just return it and not tell them and be like, it's your problem, figure it out.
Might want to get another copy of Child's Play too. Sorry. Like,
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Wow.
Well,
But yeah,
actually,
just,
yeah, but thinking about that, the fact that she does work in a video store, like if a kid were to watch this,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole chunks of this would make no sense to them. It's like if they watched The Ring, they'd be like, a videotape? What is that?
No,
It's-
yeah,
it's,
and
it's
that's
strange.
I think that's always kind of a fun thing about watching these movies is it kind of takes you back to these very specific moments in history.
Yeah.
If you're younger, you might not get it, but hopefully it causes you to be like, oh, let me go research that and figure out like why they're doing this. You learn
Curiosity.
something, hopefully, you know.
These movies can really make you curious, you know, because like when we were kids, we would watch stuff from the 50s and the 60s, and there would be like someone would call, and there would be an answering service or one of those like switchboard operators. You know,
Yes.
that wasn't a thing when we were kids, but we were like, that's cool. Why was that a thing?
Yeah, it makes you
Tell us more,
inquisitive.
grandparents.
It makes you curious, you know. I, being the stupid little kid I was, I thought that history used to be in black and white because I would watch like I Love Lucy and I'd be like, oh, she's in black and white. Wow, I wonder when history started becoming in color, you know.
Well, it was The Wizard of Oz. It really was.
Well, yeah,
It was.
yes, that in Pleasantville, I guess, in the
Yes, that is when
By the
color was
90s.
introduced to the
Introduced.
world. Of course, it was just a dream, so does that really count? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's always fun watching these movies for that reason too, just for the nostalgia and just remembering outdated technology and all these things, you know.
Yeah, there's always like something, like someone's drinking something or eating something that has not been made for like 20 plus years now. There's like, boxes of Snackwells and like Fruitopia, and you're like, oh,
yes,
remember that? It's exciting.
Remember that was a big thing.
It is so cool. In the words of Glynis Johns in Mary Poppins, cast off the shackles of yesterday.
Exactly.
Just be a sister suffragette.
Yes.
Do it. Oh.
And booga booga, you know.
If I say booga booga, you booga booga. It's just such. Oh, I love her in this so much.
What's booga booga mean? I don't know. But if I say it, you better fucking figure it out.
Oh God, it's so good. Oh, we love you, Glynis. Oh.
It's so good. And I love that at first she is not supportive of Mary, and she's like, I don't want you to end up like your parents and everything else. But when Mary goes like against her wishes and gets in the talent show anyway, then she's like, okay, well, then you're going to be the best fucking, a person in that show. And I'm going to make sure everything goes. And she's watching Gypsy.
I know.
Yeah, it was Gypsy.
Yeah. The Rosalind Russell one. Yeah. It's perfect. It's so perfect. And she said that she danced in the chorus of this show and so I guess maybe she was like one of the strippers or something. That'd be fun. A little backstory.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be good.
Would be fun.
Did you know that June Squibb was apparently in the original cast of that show as
I think
it was not Mazeppa, not Tessitur, Electra. I guess she might have replaced someone later on, but she was in the original cast, 1959, and was just on Broadway last year at like 90 something. I'm like, damn, girl.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow, good for them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these Broadway actors have lived long. And Glynis Johns, she lived to 100 years old, I saw.
Like, she had a long life. And I mean, because really, A Little Night Music, I think she was like 50 when she got that. That was like in the early 70s.
Yeah, she's that character is in like middle-aged character, so it makes sense.
It's wild. Like she had a pretty good career, all things considered, And
the fact that like by the end of the movie, I like that Molly's, or I should say Mary, her priorities have sort of shifted to, you know, she gets the kiss from Sky,
Yeah.
but then she's kind of like, okay, that was fine. But
Yeah,
then
like,
it really becomes more about like, okay, I'm gonna make my grandmother proud, and I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
Hollywood, and you know, it kind of shifts her, you know, what she's trying to get out of life in a way that like Legally Blonde kind of does the same thing.
Mhm.
Like I've seen people like criticize that movie for being about like, oh, it's about this girl like following this guy across the country and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, have you
At the
watched
beginning,
the movie?
yeah.
In the beginning, by the end,
It's-
she has completely like, you know, found her calling in life, and it just kicked that guy to the curb, you know.
It's called a character arc. People like
yes, it's called an arc. You need an
people
arc.
can start in one place. You know, you can have a character that's a piece of shit who becomes a good person by the end. Have you heard of A Christmas Carol? Look it up.
It's a classic. Many different iterations.
People say it is. I'm inclined to believe it is true.
Yes,
because it has a great character arc. That's why the greatest actors of our time continue to want to play that character, including, you know, several Muppets. I'm sure were up for the part and were beaten out by Michael Caine. You know, but
exactly.
I think it's, you know, you just. I like that it is in some ways a feminist tale, because she does start out wanting, oh, just a kiss from a boy. That's all I want. And then she finally gets that at the end, and she is like, maybe I just want to be good at what I do. Maybe I just want to make my grandmother proud, you know?
Yeah, it's a nice message. And I like how everybody kind of gets to make out with somebody at the end too. Like even
it is nice.
The kid who repeats things 5 times, we find out he's maybe gay, and you know he gets to kiss the other guy.
Okay.
I love that.
What is his name? Because he is in Urban Legend Final Cut in the airplane scene, and he's also in Jason X as like the guy that's obsessed with the robot.
Chuck Campbell is his name as Owen.
Okay, was this shot in Canada? Because I think those movies are Canadian too. So, I think Bruce McCullough is Canadian. Yeah, well, of course he is. He was in Kids in the Hall. So I'm assuming this was all done in Canada.
Yes, primarily in Toronto.
He's one of those people. That makes sense. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I love seeing those like Canadian actors just pop up
here.
I'm like, oh, this must have been Toronto. This is a Toronto movie.
He's very funny. And yeah, each one of those outcasts has their own like character, and you know, you remember something about each one of them, like a little quirk, and that's fun. That's
I do like the guy that's always like pretending to be high. He's just like, dude, like I would totally answer the question, but like I'm just so wasted, man. Because I knew a guy like that when I was a kid. I'm like, dude, you had a sun kissed. Like what? You're
fine.
Wasted.
You're fine.
It's gonna be all right. And then the I love like the goth devil worship girl.
The whole like devil went down to Georgia thing she
That's
does.
like her whole personality.
Oh god, so funny.
Her being like super goth and like anti-Catholic, and it's great. It's so great.
What is her name? Jennifer Irwin is her name. Yes, she's very funny. She's
they're so fun. It's a fun cast. It's a fun movie, and like I said, it's breezy as can be. It is like you were in and out in like 15 seconds.
It's very fast. It's got some great musical numbers. It's got that whole everybody dance now random sequence in the middle of the movie. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, that takes me back to the 90s. That was on like every CD compilation of like dance hits now from, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Records,
you know,
that and Getting Jiggy with It, which he references at one point. Like Getting Jiggy with It.
I'd forgotten about that too. And I was like, wow, this really is a 90s movie.
And the Armageddon parody sequence.
Wow. Forgot about that too. It was like everything just kept reminding me like, oh yeah, this was definitely the 90s.
It was definitely the 90s. It was that again, that SNL brand of humor that you're always sort of parodying something at some point, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because the Austin Powers movies are the same way, you know, there's a lot of parody from the 90s and the 60s in those movies too.
Oh yeah.
Just pop culture in general. So
it's great though. I mean, it's nice to watch something like this again. It's joyous and it's a blast.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on for this first episode. I thought
hell yeah,
it'd be a great one to kick off here. You know,
I can think of no better film to kick this off. Truly,
great.
I mean,
great.
Come on, classic.
Of course, it is. It should be anyway. I don't know if people love it as much as we do. I think some people do, but you know, hopefully, maybe this will cause some people to go revisit it.
I was surprised to see on Letterboxd that it had a 2.9. I was like, I feel like it could at least be like a 3.2.
That's rough.
maybe.
That's rough.
Yeah, I felt like that was a bit like underappreciated, but maybe soon.
so.
Maybe it's because it's not really streaming anywhere. I don't think, except like
Yeah.
to buy it, maybe, or
Unless
rent.
you rent it or buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe that's
So,
why the young kids just haven't discovered it yet, or people have
Yeah.
forgotten about it because it's not in front of their face like it was at the video store every week.
Totally.
You know, so I think when you're not confronted with it all the time, you tend to forget things. So
yeah, I think so too.
there's so much going
So-
on.
Maybe us talking about it will help, you know,
I hope so.
because I think it deserves a revisit. And sometimes, like you said earlier, like it's the type of movie that like you might feel very different about now than you did, you know, even the first time you saw it. Maybe you saw it initially and you were kind of like whatever about it, but give it another go, folks, because there are
Absolutely.
just a lot of things to appreciate about this movie.
Mhm.
I think especially as if you are queer, that there are just a lot of things that I feel like the people that I hear that really love this movie are, you know, queer. So there's definitely something
100%.
that taps into that. Yeah.
Well, you know, we're I think the queer audience has always accepted things that are a little off the beaten path, and especially characters like a Mary Katherine, who is kind of odd, and we've all felt odd. You know?
It's a little John Waters-esque at times for
Oh,
sure.
sure,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And like you said, mixed with like Strangers with Candy.
Mhm.
And again with this fantastic lead performance by Molly Shannon, who is just willing to take like every risk under the sun. And that's the other problem with comedies these days. It's like nobody wants to take a risk because they're afraid either they're going to offend somebody on the left or on the right. You know, so you get this very kind of wishy-washy middle ground stuff that's not really funny to anybody because you don't want to offend anybody. You know. But,
yeah, I do think that is a huge part of the problem, is that they look at every line in a comedy script and think, okay, this is going to offend this type of person. Do we want to put it in there? You know, and they're like, no, it's not really worth it. Can we change it to something a little bit lighter? You know, if you do that with all the lines in your script, eventually you got nothing. You know, you've got to take a risk eventually. Unfortunately, the people making the decisions and calling the shots are not usually creative. They're the people with the money and the suits.
No, they're very risk averse, and that's why we keep getting so many reboots, soulless reboots that are not taking any risks. But you know, I do think, like I said, I think the era is starting to break, though, and I think hopefully, God willing, that we're going to start to see some risks be taken because,
please,
and hopefully they go back and rewatch some of these movies and kind of remember what made them great and fun, you know, to begin with. Because that's the thing about, you know, nostalgia. Yes, it's kind of a two-way street. Like, you don't want to be nostalgic for the wrong kind of shit, but like, it is worth watching some of these, you know, movies to be like, okay, like the good stuff that we can take from this previous era. And I feel like they were better about that in the 90s because, again, we had Nick at Night and everything else. So we were constantly exposed to these, this older media growing up that I didn't even think twice about watching. I was like, okay, Bewitched is on, great, that's awesome. You know, the Brady Bunch. I was watching the Brady Bunch while I was watching the Brady Bunch movie. You know,
same, it was just
so, like,
expected. I think maybe it's just because we have so many choices now that
that's, you know, that problem.
The algorithm is trying to get us into our own little individual niche, and that's cool in some ways because it introduces us to a lot of like-minded people, which is great, and stuff like that, and we see things that we are genuinely interested in, but it also is keeping us from seeing stuff that maybe the algorithm doesn't think we'd be interested in, but we would be. We just don't know it yet. We just don't know.
It's true. Yeah. Pop culture is definitely a lot less homogenous than it was in the 90s, which has its pros and cons. But yeah, you're right. We kind of lost the water cooler culture. And because movies no longer have to try to appeal to a broad audience anymore, they can be specific, but I don't know. They don't expose people to things that they wouldn't normally, you know, watch, I guess. So it's, you know, or the ones that do try to be broad, they become too broad, and then it's just like a nothing movie that you see once and you forget about it, you know.
And that's honestly that's so many of them. It's just, you know, it's like they're competently made, the acting's fine, you know, it's just there's nothing there that's really worthwhile or worth remembering.
No, and that's sad, but Yeah, but that's why this podcast exists. We're gonna go back in time and watch some of these fun movies that are very memorable. Like, say what you will about Superstar, whether you love it or don't love it so much. Like, it is a very memorable movie. There are very sequences, especially just these like the musical numbers and the fights and the one-liners. Like, it's definitely parts of this movie stick in your brain, even if the whole overall movie, maybe you forget some things here and there, but like there are definitely moments in this that like last for sure.
Oh, I don't see how you could watch this and not remember, the tree scenes and the out here on my own with all this. It's just great. There's so many memorable bits and it's a joy to watch it again. And I'm really glad that you're doing this, because I think we do need to be reminded about why we love certain films that we love. I mean, I think doing the podcast with you back in the day, I would get reminded about like, oh, this is why I love Halloween H2O, or this is why I love, Let's Scare Jessica to Death. It would remind me about like what made this so special. Why was it magical to me when I first saw it? Why does it still work? Sometimes it was, why does this not work as well as it did back in the day?
Yes.
And that happens. And it'll probably happen on this particular show too. You'll probably watch something that you loved and be like, oh, that
didn't quite hold up as well, yeah. It's, but I think that's absolutely true. But thanks for coming on for the first episode, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely want to have you back on again soon. We talked before the episode started. There's another movie I want you to come on for pretty soon. So it's going to be a good one.
It's a really good one.
Another one that people don't talk about much, and they should, because it's a lot of fun.
It's also one that might be a little. Some people might take it the wrong way. It's a lot of
might be some stuff
questionable characters in this one.
Exactly. But hey, I always find that the like flawed but interesting movies are the ones that are the most fun to talk about. Because like the extremes are really not that fun. The bad ones, I don't want to talk about a bad movie because it's boring, unless it's fun bad. But I don't want to. Otherwise, I don't care. And if it's really great, like a classic, like on our podcast, we kind of were just like, we don't want to talk about those because like, what the fuck am I going to say? Like, oh, that was great. It was wonderful. It was amazing.
I was always surprised somehow we did have something to say. Like,
we did.
I remember being scared of like when we were going to talk about like the screams and the Nightmare on Elm Street. I was like, oh, how are we going to do this?
We found things to talk about,
Yeah.
So it's a balance with that. I think I'm going to try to mostly pick sort of cult movies for this podcast, but I think it takes a couple decades to really figure out like what films actually will survive and become sort of the actual cult.
Totally.
Qualification. So that's why I think it's a good time to kind of be revisiting some of these movies that I think have withstood the test of time enough for at least a particular audience. Thanks again, Chris.
Of course.
Again, we will have you on again too. I say we, it's just me now, which is weird. It's not.
It's
not you and I every episode. But
there's someone else in that room that I can't see. Who's that?
My producer over here. Yeah, Mary Katherine Gallagher over here with her.
I don't want to alarm you, but there's a strange man behind your couch. Oh dear.
There's a colonial woman, and she's on the plane.
She's dressed in traditional colonial garb. Churning butter. God bless it.
Good stuff. Okay, well, folks, if you want to follow this podcast, it's just an Instagram right now. It's Y2Gay Movie Pod on Instagram. And this was a fun first episode, and it's going to be a fun little ride here. So
I'm excited for you. This is really cool.
It's going to be a good time. All right. Well, bye.
Goodbye.